Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something that's been on my mind for a while. Why RuPaul's Drag Race, a show we all know and love, seems to have lost some of its spark over the years. As much as we all adore the queens and the glam, there are a few reasons why it started to feel a little predictable. From recycled challenges to overproduction and forced drama, let's break down why Drag Race has become a bit of a drag in recent seasons. So grab your popcorn because we're about to spill the tea. Number 1, the show becomes repetitive. RuPaul's Drag Race is undeniably iconic, but after watching so many seasons, it's hard to ignore how predictable the format has become. Every episode follows the same structure. A mini challenge to warm things up, a maxi challenge where the queens battle it out creatively, and then the dramatic runway followed by the lip-sync showdown. While this formula has given us unforgettable moments, it starts to feel repetitive when you can basically predict what's coming next before Ru even says, "Gentlemen, start your engines." It's kind of like eating your favorite meal every single day. At first you're obsessed, the flavors are perfect, and you can't get enough. But after a while you start craving something different. Maybe a plot twist, a new challenge format, or even a shake-up in the judging panel would spice things up. We love Snatch Game and design challenges, but when they roll around every season, the novelty wears off, and it becomes harder for those moments to hit as hard as they once did. Number 2, the lack of realness. One thing that made the early seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race so addictive was the raw, unfiltered drama. Queens were unapologetically themselves, and when personalities clashed, it was real and intense. Remember when Mimi Imfurst literally picked up India Farah during a lip sync? Or when Fi O'Hara and Sharon Needles had some of the messiest confrontations in Drag Race history? Those moments were chaotic, but they were also authentic, and we couldn't look away. Now, the drama feels different. In recent seasons, some conflicts come across as forced, like they're just there to check a drama box for the producers. Queens seem hesitant to express genuine feelings, probably because they're worried about being labeled as villains by fans on social media. And when there is drama, it often feels like it was edited and stitched together in post-production to look more dramatic than it actually was. It's a far cry from the natural chaos that once made the show so gripping. This change has made the show feel a little sanitized. And let's be honest, we love Drag Race not just for the runways and lip syncs, but also for those unfiltered moments that show the queens as real people. Drama isn't just about fights, it's about genuine emotion, passion, and vulnerability. If the show could recapture that raw energy and let the queens be messy and human again, it would be a lot more relatable, and even more entertaining. Next, the production. The predictability doesn't just affect us as viewers, it probably impacts the queens too. They come in already knowing how to strategize for each episode, which can make things feel less spontaneous. Remember the earlier seasons when queens were figuring it all out as they went? That unpredictability added so much fun and chaos. Drag Race is still an amazing show, but maybe it's time for it to step out of its comfort zone and surprise us the way it once did. One thing that made the early seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race so unforgettable was their raw, campy charm. It felt messy in the best way, like a group of friends putting on a fabulous, chaotic show. The queens were more unfiltered, the drama was organic, and the production had this low-budget magic that somehow made everything feel more authentic. Watching it back then was like being part of an underground scene that no one else really knew about. But as the show grew and became more commercialized, it lost some of that charm. Everything looks polished and perfect now, from the lighting to the way challenges are presented. And sure, it looks gorgeous, but that slick production sometimes makes the show feel overproduced. Storylines often seem heavily edited, with dramatic cuts and convenient rivalries that feel a little too manufactured. It makes you wonder, are we watching reality or a scripted performance? We get it. Reality TV has always had some level of creative editing, but when it's too obvious, it takes away from the experience. It's like going to a magic show and seeing the wires holding the magician up. Fourth, it is now oversaturated. One of the things that made the early seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race so unforgettable was how every queen had a distinct personality that stuck with you. Queens like Bianca Del Rio, Katya, and Alyssa Edwards became instant fan favorites because they brought something truly unique to the table. Their looks, personalities, and iconic one-liners were impossible to forget. But after so many seasons and international spin-offs, it feels like the pool of standout. Queens is thinning. These days, with so many queens entering the Drag Race universe, it's harder for individual personalities to shine. Don't get me wrong, the queens are still crazy talented and bring incredible skills to the stage, but with so many new seasons dropping back to back, it's easy for the faces and names to blur together. Sometimes it feels like queens have to work twice as hard just to be remembered, and even then, it might not be enough to break through the noise. It's kind of like binge-watching too many shows on Netflix. After a while, you forget the details of what made each one special. Drag Race might need to slow down a bit and focus on creating space for queens to really develop their stories and personalities. That's what makes fans connect with them in the first place. We don't just want fierce lip syncs. We want queens we can root for, laugh with, and remember long after the season ends. Last but not the least, the fanswan thing that's really changed RuPaul's Drag Race over the years is the rise of social media. Back in the early seasons, queens could just show up, be themselves, and not think too much about how people would react. If they got into drama or made a bold fashion choice, it was just part of the competition. But now, with Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok dissecting every moment, queens are under constant pressure to be perfect or face online backlash. This pressure has made a lot of queens play it safe. They avoid getting into conflicts, hold back their opinions, and try to fit into this polished, drama-free image to avoid becoming the next social media villain. And who can blame them? Nobody wants to wake up to a flood of hate comments over something they said in a confessionals moment. But the downside is that it makes the show feel less authentic. When everyone is hyper-aware of how they're being perceived, we lose some of the raw energy that made earlier seasons so fun. It's a reminder that sometimes as fans, we need to chill out. Drag is supposed to be bold, messy, and unfiltered. Queens are human beings. They're going to have opinions, make mistakes, and have messy moments, just like the rest of us. If we want to keep seeing that magic on the show, we have to create a space where queens feel safe to be themselves, without the fear of online hate. Let's celebrate the chaos and courage that makes Drag Race what it is. Now, how to keep it fresh. If RuPaul's Drag Race wants to keep us all hooked for years to come, they need to shake things up a bit. One of the easiest ways to do that is by introducing more creative and unique challenges. Let's be real. Snatch. Game will always be iconic, but it's been done a lot. It's time for something new and unexpected. Imagine challenges that push queens to step outside their comfort zones in fresh ways, like having to design an outfit out of unconventional materials or creating a music video on the fly. These types of challenges keep the show exciting and unpredictable, which is exactly what we need to stay engaged. Another way to keep Drag Race fresh is by exploring different themes or adding unique twists to each season. Think about the fun that could come from having a retro season, where queens have to channel different decades, or a season with a mystery twist where even the queens don't know the rules. Themes like this would not only give the queens a chance to show off their versatility, but also bring something new and visually exciting to the table. The show has so many possibilities to experiment with, and exploring different themes could lead to even more iconic moments. Lastly, the show would benefit from allowing more organic interactions between queens. Over the years, the editing has started to lean heavily into the drama for entertainment purposes, but we know that not everything that's shown is as intense as it seems. If the producers let the queens be themselves without manipulating every moment for maximum conflict, we could see some really genuine and heartwarming connections that we don't get to see as much anymore. After all, it's those real emotional moments that fans truly connect with, and they're often the most memorable parts of any season. Well, that's a wrap for now. Keep slaying, keep shining, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.